This is the Shaver Prep Football Podcast, episode 20, presented by Aquarius Home Services and brought to you by True Stone Financial and Culver's. And I'll name our Culver's Player of the Week in just a minute. The early signing period for college football was last week, and the Gophers landed what they hope is their quarterback of the future in four-star recruit Jackson Kollock out of California. And I talked with him. Quarterback Jackson Kollock signed his letter of intent with the Gophers last week. He'll be on campus in a short while. And thanks for doing this. I know that it's a big deal to take a verbal commitment you had back in March and then put your pen to paper and make it official. What was it like last week to sign your tender, and how excited are you to be a Gopher?
Oh, it was just pure straight excitement. I mean, like, everything I've been working for is paying off, and just putting that pen on the paper was just like money in the bank. It meant so much to me and my family, and to the people that helped me out throughout this whole journey. So yeah, I just couldn't be more grateful for where I've made it to, and to be a Gopher.
So you make the commitment back in March. Was there ever a time where you second guessed that decision, or were you rock solid this entire time?
I've been rock solid this entire time. When I made that decision, I was firm on it, and every other college who reached out to me, they knew that too. So,
so quarterback in California, people are going to say, "What are you doing? Why would you come all the way to Minnesota?" I get it; it's Big Ten football competition, and I'm sure that's part of it. But what is it about Minnesota? What is it about PJ that you said this is where I want to be?
I'd say a lot has to do with the culture of just the program. It's unlike anything I've seen at any other college. And I feel like they're just a couple little pieces away from like being national championship contenders. And I feel like I can add to that and hopefully elevate that program. Like this past year, 1 point away from Penn State, just
right.
few little things go differently, and they're in the college football playoffs making a run for it. So
tell me, what is it about the culture? What is it about Gopher football that you see as something that is so enticing for you that you'll come all this way to play football?
For one, everyone buys into it. Like his whole row the boat philosophy, the whole team buys in and trusts the process. There's no one like fighting it. There's no like me guys. It's all we, and it's for the team. So that's something that I really hold true and like want to emulate. So it fits with what I care about, and what he cares about. It matches. So it's a very, very good fit for me.
For those that don't know, Jackson, the quarterback out of California, over 1,700 yards passing this year. Your team goes 10-2. You have a really nice year. Describe yourself as a quarterback. What do you think makes you good? And I know you're 6'4", you're 225. You've got all the measurables that Big Ten and Division I power conferences look for. What is it specifically you think you bring to the Gophers as a quarterback that will make you good?
I will do whatever it takes to win. I feel like that's my main thing. It's like I will put my body on the line. I will run 3 guys over if I have to, but whatever is asked of me, I will do. And like I want to win football games. Like that's what I put everything into, is winning games. So that's something I feel like I bring. If it's me having to be more of a dual threat guy or be more of a pro style pocket passer, I'll do whatever's needed.
How would you describe yourself right now? Are you a dual threat? Are you a pocket passer? How would you describe yourself right now?
I like to describe myself as a pocket passer that makes plays. So
okay.
I sit in there, and if I need to get out and make something happen, I'll make something happen. But I would say like generally my play style is pro style, but this year I had to become more of a dual threat style, having more rushing yards than the previous 2 years. So got to do what it takes to win.
So the Gophers are going to, and they've made it no secret that they're going to go into the transfer portal and find a quarterback for next year, kind of what they did with Max Brosmer, who's had a very nice year. How do you think you fit into all this? And do you give yourself some time in order to kind of get acclimated, not only to Minnesota, but also to Big Ten football and Gopher football? Do you understand the patience part of all of this?
No, yeah. My big thing is just going in there to learn and be prepared for when the moment comes and not waiting for the moment. So that's been a big thing for me. It's like I'm gonna go in there and compete, but I'm also gonna do the best I can to be prepared for when I do get my shot. And when I do, I'm not gonna let it go to waste.
I've talked to so many football players, specifically for Minnesota Division One players, who also make the point that I have to prove that I belong. I have to
Mhm.
prove when I get there that I belong. Is that part of your process too, to prove yourself that you belong at this level to play?
Oh yes, sir. I mean, prove it to myself and then prove it to the people around me. But it's also just earn the respect of the team. I feel like that's a big part of being a quarterback is being a team player and making sure everyone gets their share. So I think that's a big thing for me is just going in there, earning the respect of not only my coaches but also my teammates.
So you're coming here in January, is that correct? You're coming
Yes,
early.
sir.
What kind of advantage do you think that gives you as you step into the next step of your journey, your football journey?
No, I think it has a huge advantage just being able to learn the playbook earlier, get involved in the system earlier. Just a whole learn. It's just an extra half a year of learning, which I mean the advantages are unreal there. So
So
definitely value that.
yeah, what do the Gophers tell you that they want you to do to prepare yourself? Is there something bigger, faster, strong? Since your season ended, did they ask you to put on a little bit more weight, or is there anything that they've asked you to do, or are they waiting for you to walk in the door before they decide how to mold you a little bit more?
Um, I mean, there's not really anything they've specifically like told me to do. Of course, just work on my craft, always getting better, like can always improve. So that's just been something I've been working on since the season is just working on getting as best as I can for when I get up there. And then when I get up there, going in there, competing and learning as much as I can. So,
This is our first chance to talk to Jackson Kollock before he walks in the door at Minnesota. Let me throw some questions at you and just give us your first response. What do you like to do away from football?
oh, I don't know. My whole life's kind of been football, and family. I mean, I love being with my family. I love playing chess. Um, Video games are fun. I love fishing, so I know they got a lot of lakes up there, so I'm excited for that. Um, and I love being around people, just hanging out with friends, and that's a big thing for me too.
Favorite food? Do you have a favorite junk
Oh,
food? Something you shouldn't eat, but you know you can't help yourself?
my favorite food is steak and a baked potato. I could eat that all day, every
And you're
day. But my favorite like a cheat meal, like I love Reese's Pieces. So like if I could get my hands on some of those, I'll
what are you
those are my favorite.
what are you interested in studying when you come here?
Sports management and business.
Okay. What do you see yourself 10 years from now? I mean, I think obviously you want to play football. I get that part. But if football's not in the equation, what do you see yourself doing?
If football doesn't work out, I definitely want to stay around the game. So coaching would be huge for me.
Okay.
Whether that's as a private quarterback coach or a grad assistant, whatever that may be. But I want to stay around the game. So whatever I can do to do that, I'll do whatever it takes.
Sounds like it's all about football, and that's your number one focus.
It is.
Last question, how do you see in this day and age, Jackson, of NIL, transfer portal, how do you view your commitment? When you signed last week your tender, how do you view that in your terms? Because we've seen it so many times where players will sign, they come for a year, 2 years, and they leave. It's become the way of life in college football. How do you
Mhm.
see your commitment?
I see mine strictly based off the coaching staff and the culture. I didn't have money a factor in it at all. We didn't even talk about it. So I try to keep my decisions strictly based off of football, and you got to earn your keep. So the money will come when you deserve it.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best. We're excited to have you on campus. Do you own a winter coat?
I'm gonna get one. I have one, but I don't think it's good enough for for there.
Well, make sure you get a winter coat, hat, and some gloves because you're going to need it if you walk on campus in January. Jackson, was great to talk to you. Good luck.
Great talking to you too. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
When I met Jeff, the owner of Aquarius Home Services, I got it. He started the business in 1987 with one goal in mind: great customer service every single time. It's not a buzz phrase. Customer service is at the heart of Aquarius Home Services. I'm a customer. I see it, I feel it, and trust me, you will too. Cooling, heating, water treatment, plumbing, electrical, and more. Aquarius Home Services, earning the right to be recommended. The big prep football news this week in Minnesota is the All-Star game to be played Saturday afternoon at US Bank Stadium. The North versus the South, 88 players on the roster and two outstanding head coaches. Well, I've got the two head coaches for the Minnesota High School All-Star football game with me today. Cullen Nelson of Chanhassen will be coaching the South, and Mike Diggins of Centennial will be coaching the North. Thanks for doing this, you guys. What does it mean to coach the All-Star game? I'll start with you, Mike. What does it mean to you to be able to be the head coach of the North in the All-Star game?
Well, it's an extreme privilege. I mean, you work a long time and you get asked to do this, and it's extreme privilege to do that. And I just think it's going to be a great deal of fun working with these kids too. And they're excited about being here and about playing. I think our coaching staffs, both of us, all of us are excited about being here. I know I'm excited about doing it. It's a lot of work, though. I will say that.
You feel the same way, Cullen?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've remember when one of my teammates, Chad Setterstrom, played in the All-Star game back when we were in high school, and they practiced in the summertime, and they happened to practice in Northfield, so I got to go over and watch, and got to see all the guys back then. The D1 guys all played.
Yeah.
They weren't gone by the time the All-Star game hit. So it was fun to watch that, and so now to be on the other end of it's kind of surreal and really exciting. And all the coaches that I've looked up to and worked with have coached in this in some facet or form. And so just really excited. And I think both rosters are really talented, and with with social media and the coverage that high school sports get now, just have seen it in a bunch of these kids play and kind of who they are. And it'll be a really good time. But yeah, sub plans for 3 days of school is a lot of work. But coach is a lot harder. He's got middle school. My high schoolers will be all right.
So let me ask you. I'll start with you, Cullen. Did you talk to a former All-Star football head coach just to kind of get a feel for what this window of 4 or 5 days when you're with this group, what to do, how to do it, what's the best way to go about business?
Yeah, I talked to a few guys who've coached in it, and last year we had Maxwell Woods play, and so I went and watched him practice over at Minnetonka and got to connect with Nick David at that, and then JJ Helgett from Mankato West was the offensive coordinator, and we played them twice or a couple times or 3 times the last 2 years. And so I was able to connect with him a little bit on it. And so, yeah, the big advice is you're going to enjoy the heck out of it and you're going to have fun with it. And delegate stuff out to people so that people who are the other coaches that are coming can make the most of their time and enjoy it and don't feel like they're just there. So try to kind of do that stuff, but nobody had a ton of advice other than that.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I reached out to Mike Watson. He was in the 90s, but the same feel is here right now as it was back then. So, and we also reached out to the Grand Rapids coach and Bartlett over at White Bear, and our coaches have all kind of reached out to different people to see how you plan things. And and it's the same advice that Cullen got. Just have fun with it. Make sure the kids have fun with it. And that's the most important thing. The kids have fun with it. I don't think anybody's worried about winning or losing, at least in my perspective. I think it's great we got to get kids out there and play, and we're going to just have some fun.
How do you keep it simple? Mike, how do you organize your offense, organize your defense? You only have a few days to install things. How do you keep it simple?
Well, our coaches asked me, do you want to run your stuff? And I said, I don't think kids are going to want to run the veer offense in an all-star game. I doubt our receivers are going to like that too well. So we're going to run some spread stuff. And, I've delegated that out. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm going to learn a few things about the spread offense. So I'm going to take it as a learning tool and learn some things. And again, I think it's just going to be fun to be with our guys and our coaches and Cullen's coaches and just talk.
How about you, Cullen? How are you going to keep it simple?
Well, everybody says that like the kids pick up so much faster than you would think, just because they're at that level and their maturity and they're really excited to be there. So yeah, we're gonna run a multiple offense and spread people out a little bit, because I know how hard it can be to run the ball sometimes in these things. And the more people we put in there, the more guys got to get on the same page blocking. And defensively, it'll be a total departure for me. We're going to be a 4-man front, because it makes it easier to rush the passer. And I'm never coached a 4-man front or so I'll learn a bunch of stuff. That's what I'm just planning on is stealing ideas on how to have fun. And I want the kids to enjoy it, especially because we've got kids that are giving up a week of their winter sports to come and do this. And boy, I want them to have a really good time and go back to their winter sport with some leadership stuff or some things they've learned on how to act and how to be around kids that are really successful. And so, we're just going to keep it really simple and let the athletic kids go at it. Just like when you're coaching, the more talented your kids are, the less you want to get in the way.
How do you get everybody in, Cullen? How do you figure out how much everybody gets to play? Because they're there, they want to play. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of take Coach Fritzie's advice on it, and we're gonna have the kids kind of set their rotation, and then each position coach just got to keep their eye on it and make sure there's not a guy jumping the line. And that's going to be kind of my message to them is like, guys, I get it, y'all want to play, but that's what everybody wants to do. So let's, figure up a rotation that makes sense based on that. We can adjust if the game goes, if we go on a 3 and out, or if we go on a long drive. And I don't want to, on the 8th play of the drive, run a whole new old line in there. But if that's what the kids want, it's kind of their deal. We're just there to keep it organized, but just kind of let them set the rotation and based on formation and stuff on offense, things could change a little bit on who's in and who's not. But just try and let the kids own like it, because it's kind of like even in a game where it gets out of hand, if kids are trying to rotate all these kids, and if the kid doesn't say something, sometimes it's hard. But with 44 kids, I think we'll be able to get everybody in and get a bunch of football.
Yeah. Same with you, Mike?
Yeah, it's the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. We have some unique things. We have a couple kids that, were listed as maybe a guard, but they've never played guard in their life. Right. So we are dealing with that right now. I started putting it together. Actually, I don't want my Centennial staff to hear it, but it's what I worked on today in class. So I was sitting working on all-star stuff. No, we need to kind of figure some things out. We're short in some areas, but we'll make it work, and everybody's going to get plenty of playing time.
Last question. Wouldn't it be nice to have a roster like this? Mike, wouldn't it be nice?
I think we would have played just last week if we did. I mean, I think we'd have been in there. Maybe I would have screwed it up, though. I don't know, but yeah, that's what we've heard from everybody. They all said, it seems like a lot of time, or very short time to put stuff in. And everybody we talked to said, you'll have plenty of time. These kids are all football kids.
Yeah.
And they know stuff, and it's not as hard to put it in. And that's going to be the fun part. These are all football kids that really are good football players. And, it's again, a privilege for me to be with these kids and be selected.
Same for you, Cullen. It's just, what an honor to be able to be around a group that is such high achievers in this sport.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the phone talking to kids that we've played against back-to-back years in the state tournament, that we've played in our district, that they've been varsity players since they were sophomores.
Yep.
So just really, really talented group of kids, and excited just to be a part of it. And I think when if you happen to win, great. If you don't, that's okay too. But you've got 3 days, and the reality is I don't know how many times coach has been asked to do this, but I figure this will be the only time I'll get a shot at it. So I'm going to enjoy it, and a chance to coach in US Bank Stadium when there's no pressure is going to be awesome. But no, the MFCA and the Vikings do an amazing job, and I think we got quality kids, and they're gonna have a blast, and that's the key at the end of it. When they walk away, I want them to feel like it was a rewarding experience. Whatever they've given up to be a part of this was totally worth it. So that's my number one goal.
Yep.
So, and I hope it feels the same for both coaching staffs, and because our families are missing out too on stuff, but this is, you don't get to do this very often. So,
Well,
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not, I'm on my last days anyway as of coaching, so I'm sure I'm not invited back. But I want to, reiterate what Cullen said. I think the MFCA and the Minnesota Vikings do a great job. I think if you look at the All-Stars, with no disrespect to any other sport, this is probably the best one and the hardest to probably put together. And I think Dave Fritzie does a great job doing it. And again, I think the Minnesota Vikings do a great job of helping out.
Well, it should be a fun week. Both teams will be getting together in the middle of the week and practicing leading up to the game on Saturday afternoon. Guys, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah,
Cullen,
thank
head
you.
coach of the South, and Mike Diggins, the head coach of the North. Good luck this week. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
thanks. We'll see you down there, Coach.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
I was visiting with my friends over at True Stone Financial the other day, and they're just a warm and welcoming group. They're known as the Neighborhood Credit Union, and I think that's the best way to describe them. When I'm at True Stone, I feel like I'm chatting with my neighbors. Combine that personality with a full menu of services and a lot of financial expertise, and you have a winning combination. Whether I need a checking account, a car loan, even a mortgage, I know I'm going to be working with smart, friendly people. With 23 locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, you're not far from a True Stone neighborhood. Visit a branch near you or learn more at truestone.org. True Stone is an equal housing opportunity lender. All right, let's meet two of the players that are going to take part in the All-Star game on December 14th. Blake Schiltz from Pine Island playing for the South at linebacker, and Grant Tylutki from Rocori High School will play for the North. Thanks for doing this, you guys. What kind of an honor, Blake, is this to be chosen to play in the All-Star game?
It feels great, obviously, to be chosen as one of the top players in Minnesota and get to play against some of the other top guys. And I know, especially coming from a little bit smaller school, from a 3A school, and being able to play some of the guys from all the bigger schools too, it'll be a fun experience.
How about for you, Grant? What does it feel like to be chosen for this game?
It's super exciting. We've had a good friend of mine, Will Stahl, last year. He played in it, and me and a few other friends went down to watch him, and it just was super fun to watch, see all the best players in the state competing against each other for one last high school game.
So what have you guys done between the end of your seasons and now, as we start the week where you show up for camp and you've got like 3 days of practice and then the game on Saturday? What have you done, Grant, to keep yourself football ready for this week?
It's gone out to the field a few times. It's hard with the weather, especially in Minnesota, and then I've been busy with basketball too, so that helps with the conditioning part of it. So basketball and then play catch here and there. It'll be good to get back into it a few days before, though.
So you're taking a break from your basketball season to take part in the All-Star game?
Yeah, I'll miss 2 practices, I think it was, and my coach was more than understanding, so that was good.
Blake, what about you? What have you done to keep yourself football ready?
I've kind of just, once the season was over, got back in the weight room a lot more, and getting my strength and my weight back up. And conditioning wise, I'm definitely going to have to use the few days of practice. And I think my dad said that I think tomorrow I'm going to get some field work in to get some conditioning. So
it's kind of
but
easy
just get in the weight room. What?
It's kind of easy to fall out of football condition in some ways, isn't it? When you're not doing it every day. What's the one thing that you feel like you've got to get back in order to feel like you're ready for this week?
Just that conditioning piece and being able to go 100% for play after play. So I don't know how much they're gonna roll us or anything, but just that 100% every 40 seconds. So
what about Blake for this week? What do you want to get out of this experience? What are you looking forward to the most?
I just think it'll be a really good experience to be with a bunch of the best football players in Minnesota, and then also just to learn a lot more. I know we're going to have plenty of meetings and learn from new coaches and other players around the area in my same position. So I think that'll be cool learning experience.
How about for you, Grant? What are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I would say just playing with all the best players in the state and getting to know them more, and then the coaches as well. It's top coaches too. So, because I've just only learned from my coaches, so it'll be good to get a new feel.
Both you guys are outstate football players. Do you feel when you show up for something like this, you have a little bit of things to prove, maybe to the Metro guys a little bit? Grant, is there a little bit of that or not?
We haven't really played too many Metro teams, so I wouldn't say there's maybe just a little bit there because I know the South's won a lot in the past, but North won last year. So,
yeah. How about for you, Blake? I mean, you play in Pine Island, I mean, you don't get a Mike Diggins is your head coach, or I'm sorry, Cullen Nelson is your head coach at Chan. So obviously that's a big school, big 5A school. When you go shoulder to shoulder with some of these Metro guys, what do you think?
I mean, I like it. It's a little bit more way to show myself. I mean, we do play one big school, or known school in Stewartville.
Yeah.
But other than that, a lot of our games aren't even seen. So those guys probably don't even know who I am. So it's pretty cool.
Get a chance to prove who you are. Talk a little bit, Blake, about signing day for you. You signed with NDSU. What was the day like? What was it? What did it feel like to put your pen to paper, take that verbal commitment and make it real? And then what do you hope to accomplish at NDSU?
I mean, I'd known for a while that I was going to NDSU, but it was kind of just like a final relief. Like, okay, this is all done now. And then just another step on getting to NDSU and starting to get to work and play ball.
What do they project you to play? Do they look at you as a linebacker?
No, I think they're actually talking about moving me to defensive end.
Okay.
Put some weight on me. And they've talked, and they've had a bunch of high school linebackers move to defensive end and do very well. And some go to the NFL, a bunch of all conference players. So I think that'll be good, moving me to the end.
Grant, you're an athlete. You play both sides of the football. Speed is your game. What does North Dakota get in a player like you, and what do they project you to play?
They're projecting me at either free safety or like a roll down safety. They just said once I get up there, do some drills and get into it, they'll really decide after I get up there which one of those two I'll play. And then it would be fun to be like a return specialist again, like high school. So
do you have a preference? Is there one side of the ball you'd rather play?
I would rather play defense. I just like the physicality and hitting people.
What was signing day like for you? Was it a pretty big day for you too and your family?
Yeah, it was exciting and a relief just to have it official rather than just a verbal commitment. And then with Bubba stepping down, it was a relief to get signed.
The two coaches, Cullen Nelson with the South and Mike Diggins with the North, talked to me on this show about what it looks like, what the All-Star game is going to look like for them, and how simple they want to keep it. it kind of feels like a backyard kind of a game where there's not going to be a lot of, preparation time. Obviously, you only get 3 days of practice, but it's going to feel a little bit more like it's a little more wide open. Grant, what do you expect from learning some plays and that type of thing? The setup to the game itself.
I'm not really sure what to expect, honestly. Like, there's guys coming in from all over doing all different types of defenses, all different types of offenses. So I think it'll just be a fun game, guys flying around and making plays.
I think it's a lot more fun, Blake, when it's kept a little bit more simple. I mean, it sounds like the offense is going to be pretty easy to learn. The defense is going to be pretty basic, and they're just going to let you guys go play.
Yeah, I think that's what they were telling us. And I think the only thing defensively that they said was different was they don't want us blitzing for linebackers at the quarterback. And I think that makes sense, so we can have people making plays. But I think what I'm looking forward to is there's a bunch of people coming in with a bunch of different football knowledge, but everybody's going to have a good share of it. I mean, it's a bunch of good players. So just in the few days of practice, hearing what everybody else has to bring to the table, I think that I'm kind of interested in what that's going to be like.
Well, it's going to be a great experience. The game is going to be a lot of fun. It's on Saturday at 1:00 at US Bank Stadium. Blake and Grant, thanks for doing this, and good luck on Saturday. Have fun.
Thank you.
We all have go-tos, right? Well, mine is Culver's, and all you have to do is look at my social media for proof. I eat at Culver's almost every day, and I love matching my order number to a star athlete. But more than anything else, I love the food. It's fresh, it's delicious, and it's comfort. I feel good after stopping at Culver's. The people are friendly, the food is made to order, and it just makes me happy, truly. So if you're looking for your go-to, I have a recommendation: Culver's. And our Culver's player of the week is number 1, Tay Mans, running back out of Duluth-Denfeld, who will play in the All-Star game this weekend for the North. Tay finished the season with almost 1,900 yards rushing and 28 touchdowns. Good luck on Saturday. By the way, tickets are still available for the All-Star game. You can go to Vikings.com in order to find those tickets. Again, the game is Saturday afternoon, 1:00 at US Bank Stadium. Also this weekend, Minnesota's Mr. Football will be announced, and here are the 10 finalists for Mr. Football. They are Nolan Ginsky of Owatonna, Cam Hungerholt out of Leroy Ostrander, Kevon Johnson from Armstrong High School, Landon Kuyama of Becker, Hank Meyer out of Kimball, Sam Shaughnessy, quarterback from Blaine, Chase Thompson of Alexandria, Grant Tylutki of Rocori, Hudson Vasika of Bold, and Jacob Urbanik of Maple Grove. Congratulations to all 10, and good luck on Sunday. Next week on this show, former Buffalo High School football star Trayton Welch, now with the New Orleans Saints, will join me, and we'll talk girls flag football in Minnesota coming again this spring. Jeff Erdman will be my guest. For producer Alex Haugen and the great folks here at Talk North, thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week.